Why do women get to have preferable likenesses, but men cannot have preferable likenesses? It occurred to me that if I tell a woman what I prefer and like in another woman, then she'll say that I am wrong and what I want is unjust. But the moment another woman tells her that she's found a man that she likes or that she wants or feels is right for her, she'll get praised and celebrated. Yes, queen, you get the man that you want, and da 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 da, and that's okay. But if I do that, I am unfair and wrong for wanting someone who I feel is right by my personal standards. For us guys, I feel like we give you a chance, we allow you to come over, you know, but that's because we don't want to seem like assholes. But usually, you force the man to come over just about every time, and you'll give us that toxic energy, and you won't like it when we reciprocate it back to you. I don't understand what is the point in that, but it's just wrong. You'll give us toxic energy, but when we just reciprocate it back to you, you feel like we're doing the wrong thing, or that we messed up somehow, or that we're just being an asshole. And that's not the case. You know, you don't give us the same treatment. We give you chances to come over. We allow you to come over. We're open to the idea of women approaching us first. But because you do it so rarely, you know, it's almost become common law for the guy to approach the woman first, which is sort of messed up. Is it wrong for us to give that sort of type of energy to you? Yeah, it's wrong, but what do you expect in return when you are being an asshole to another human being? Like, it would be pathetic for a guy. Well, it's pathetic. It would be, in that situation, it would be pathetic for the guy to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'll just go away. Or he just continues to try and do it. Or he's just being a nice guy. He would seem pathetic because of that. Because he would seem like a nice guy and walk away without saying sorry or without saying all that. He'd say, okay. And then he'd go on his way. And you think we're pathetic because we just decided to walk away from the chance that you clearly cut into in front of us. But yeah, is it wrong for us to reciprocate that toxic energy? Yeah, it is. But it's rightfully deserved. It is fine if you have a preference, right? It is fine if women like taller men. It is fine if I like thinner women. No! Can't say that, Amir. Otherwise, you're fat phobic and exuding toxic masculinity. What? Since when? All because I said I like women that are thinner? Well, I find it more attractive to seek out women who are thinner? I'm telling you what I prefer, not what I only want or only need. Just people, specifically females like that, they need to stop coming to their own conclusions and they need to hear other people out. Like I said in my last video, just because you hear somebody, it doesn't mean you're actually listening to them. And females need to start doing that when we start telling them stuff start talking about this kind of stuff. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck in the same mentality that we're just doing this because we want to be assholes to women. When that's not the case. We're genuinely looking for a chance. You just won't give it out. Why do you... Hold on. I'm going to look at my thing for some examples. Why do you get to like men who are over 6 feet tall, are muscular and toned, have a big weenie hut junior, etc., etc., but I can't like women who are skinny, got a big butt, have bigger breasts, got a smaller waist, etc., etc., without you saying I'm shallow and I'm preying on their most attractive parts? That's not me preying on their most attractive parts. That's me just liking what I like. That's me seeing something and being like, ooh, that's nice. You know, I wonder if I could get that. Not like, I'm not viewing you as an object. Clearly that's wrong. Women are not objects. What I'm saying is, if I like it, of course I'm gonna try and get it. You know, it's natural human. It's natural for humans to like something and want to get it. How do you think we've fucking evolved throughout these generations? How do you think we've come to get ring lights and shit and get phones and shit? If niggas didn't want, the fucking internet in their phone, and they wouldn't have made a phone. Niggas wouldn't have gotten phones. Niggas wouldn't have gotten instruments if they didn't want to play music without singing it through their mouths. I'm not preying on their most attractive parts. I'm seeing what I like, and I'm trying to get that. Yeah, and there's a lot of females out there who have those attractive parts. So, is it exactly preying on them? Is it exactly preying on them if I like what they have? I'm not here to eat them up. I mean, I'll tear some ass up, but that's not the point. Am I really there to prey on them like a creepy dude who walks around their apartment corner in the middle of the night as they're entering their little apartment or whatever? I'm not that kind of guy. What benefit would I gain from being that kind of guy? That's my question. I'm not trying to argue. I'm trying to bring up the question of, why do you get to have preferences but I can't? We aren't on the same terms. We should both know that. But don't impose your ideals on me when they're clearly hypothetical. Like, don't try and trip somebody up. Don't try to trip somebody up in a race, and think that it's okay. Yeah, a very, very small minority of the people will be like, oh, wow, yo, he really did that. But the majority of the people will think it's fucked up. They came to watch a race, not to watch some dude run to the finish line before the other person could get ahead. It's just wrong and it's foul. So please don't do it. Every time the media pushes out an article where it's a female against male, a sort of lawsuit or civil case, and the female comes out of court without any charges, or they don't even go to court, and the male gets charges put on him for no reason, and then he has to go out into the public and get shamed and ostracized by the entire community. It only enforces that narrative and that ideology that women are not to be fought back, and that women can just go around and fucking mess up other people's lives without any repercussions. That's wrong. That's just flat out wrong. I can guarantee you that if you go and search up any domestic lawsuit case where it's a female aggressor against a male victim, I guarantee you in the article it will say she forced him to have sex with her, or she provoked him into punching, yada yada, instead of putting she raped him or she punched him. Like, just right out. They won't do that. I don't know why they won't do it. Why do they subliminally continue to push that narrative forward when it clearly doesn't help anything? It only makes more problems for men. Because most of the time, any time a female gets into something and they blame a man, it's immediately believed. Believe her is what they say. And no, it's wrong to believe her. Look at the facts first. The stigma that only men can do wrong against females, or in a case where it's a female against male, we should all know that it's wrong by now. It's flat out unjustified. But, the courts are always in a female's favor for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's just wrong. It's probably because for so long society has accepted, like, men to always be the dominant and less passive side. So that also got applied to courts in any sort of case. And it's just when all right when it comes to notice that a female has attacked a male, they immediately try to look at the situation, not for the facts, but they try and look at the situation and see what the male did rather than what the female did and what led up to the female doing that. You know, they'll search for everything that the male did, but they won't try and understand the female side of the situation. Hence why the courts are always put against us when we actually get there. Like, it is seen as self-defense when the male naturally attacks back once the female hits them. Because anybody knows, nigga, if you hit me, you're most likely going to get clapped back. And that's facts. Hard facts. All right? No way that I'm going to let you hit me in the face hard with all your anger and just be completely fine with that. No. That's not happening. Not at all. Not once in your lifetime. Especially if you actually hate me in that moment. Like, I can understand if you're drunk. But if you're not drunk and you know what the hell you're doing, you're most likely going to get punched in the fucking face. Alright? Females have not had to go their entire lives with hearing, you shouldn't hit men. They've gone their entire lives hearing that men shouldn't hit women. And because they've grown up with that in their head the entire time, they don't realize that it's wrong to do these sorts of things to men, which severely hurts our reputation. If you view it from my perspective, men have a reputation to uphold, and it constantly gets battered down every month or so. We constantly get that reputation battered down every month or so because men are constantly getting called out for these sort of things and women are not. And every time a singular shitty man gets called out for that stuff, then it falls back on all other men. And it fucking sucks for us because then we have to go out into society knowing that this guy did this, and now we can't be comfortable when we're around that kind of stuff, or we can't be comfortable when someone else is about to do that stuff that we know, and it sucks. Like, freaking dude walks out into a food court, just chilling, eating his food, looking around, and some female says that he's sexually harassing her just by looking at her. Females can do that shit. I don't know why. It doesn't make any fucking sense, and it's unfucking fair to the guys. And they'll still get time for it. So now, not only does he go to jail for not only does he go to prison for half a year or maybe 2 years, or because it's sexually harassment, he'll go to fucking jail for 10 years. But then I have to go out all men surrounded by this situation have to go out in public, and they can't look at females while eating in a food court anymore. It's fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. And, because females need an immediate justification for punching the dude, and, they don't realize the error of their ways because they never were told that it was fucking wrong to hit the guy. Their immediate justification is self-defense, or that, they've had past trauma that fell back on them and that they just let out onto the other male. Look, females, if your previous partner tore you up that badly, I can understand if it's hard to let go of that trauma. But please, for the love of God, if you deal with it on a regular basis, try your best for your next partner to conceal that stuff, or try your best to get over it, because we don't want it falling back on us. We don't want your screaming incidents. We don't want you to be slapping us on the shoulder like that's normal. We all have our boundaries. We all have our personal space. We eventually break too, but you don't understand that because you've gone through so much, and you don't understand the pain that we go through. Just please, for the love of God, learn learn how to get over certain things. If you can't get over them, at least learn how to conceal them for us. Or not even conceal them, at least learn how to cope with them. You know, if you have trauma from your second part, your XX, if you have problems from your XX that are still on you right now, please try and figure out how to cope with that, or try and figure out how to get rid of that. Because not only does it make the male in the relationship feel uncomfortable that he's having to deal with, you know, your trauma from 2 partners ago, but he just doesn't understand how to fix that, because he was not in that situation. Maybe if he was in that situation, then he'll know. But usually it comes down to him not knowing how to help you, because he was never in that situation, and he most probably never will be, because he's sort of smart enough to not get into that kind of stuff. So if you have problems, try and fix them. Go to a friend and ask them what they can do. If they don't know what to do, don't get mad at them. All right, move on to the next person. If they can't help, then go to the next. If they can't help, and you eventually get to like the end of the line, try and help yourself. Find things that you can do around the house or around your neighborhood, you know, that gets your mind off that stuff. Because when that kind of stuff falls onto another person, it hurts us. And we don't want that kind of negativity surrounding us. All right, back to the original topic. The stigma that women are passive and non-aggressive, and, you know, I mean, it's been scientifically proven that they aren't as strong. But just because of that stuff, like, it does not mean that they cannot be the aggressors in this situation. It does not mean that men can never be victims. That's sort of like prejudice, if you think about it. That's sort of like gender racism. It's sort of like gender prejudice, if you think about it. Like, we have so many things put against us, and when we do it, it's wrong for us. But when they do it, it is completely fine. And it's just wrong. We get battered. We get shamed for so many things that women would do and would never be considered, you know, wrong for. But when we do it, it's out of pocket. Like I said, it's the stigma that they're non-passive, or that they're passive and non-aggressive. You know, it just, that's not the case in every single situation. They will hit us. They will call us names. They will go way too fucking deep just to say some shit about us. And they will carry things out too far. You know how females will carry things out too far when you're in an argument? They fucking hate it. They absolutely hate it when you don't respond to them, when you don't pay attention to what they're saying. If it's something important that they're saying, yeah, pay attention. But if they're shouting at you for the sake of shouting at you because they're fucking pissed off or drunk, it's okay for you to not respond. But females fucking love it when you finally say something to them and they've been shouting at you for like 3 minutes, maybe 5. Like, you can be sitting there just chilling, looking at the TV, actually listening to the TV while she's shouting at you, and you'll be like, but I didn't do that. And I'm like, oh my God, so you are listening. You are listening. Jesus, finally, thank you. You never fucking listen. You know, it's just, they eat that shit up. You could actually use it to your advantage if you think about it. But, you know, that'd be kind of shitty, so I wouldn't suggest doing it. You know, once it gets brought up that a female has done something violent towards a male, or has been violent towards a male, it's unbelievable. And it's unbelievable. It's funny to them and everyone. It's funny to women and men, you know. And it just it just doesn't sound right. Like, yo, you got beat up by a chick. Yeah, I got socked. She fucking hurt, man. You know, and then the guy would be like, the other guy would be like, yo, you a fucking pussy, bro. Yo, I would have slapped the shit out of her on my Chris Brown. On God, that it's just wrong. All right, look, if you're gonna punch the shit out of a woman, you don't gotta tell me. You have all the right to do it if she hits you first. You don't gotta tell me. But it's just like, it shouldn't be unbelievable and it shouldn't be funny to everybody, men included, when a female abuses a male in any sort of situation, and then the male comes and says, you know, I haven't been happy because she's been abusing me, and every time I come home, she shouts at me. Every time I do this, she gets pissed off at me. Every time I don't tell her where I am and I come back, she starts hitting me. Like, that's wrong. It's not funny. I mean, sometimes it can be funny if the dude is really fucked up. But in serious cases like this, it's not funny. Like, why do you think men don't go out and seek help for this? Because they'll get laughed at. They'll go to a counselor, they'll talk to the person about it, and the counselor will be like, they'll be laughing under their breath or something. And it's just wrong. It's always fun and games when it happens to the guys, but it's never fun and games when it happens to the chicks. Fairly, it's never funny when it happens to the chicks, but when it happens to the guys, it's not fair at all how we get shamed for being taken advantage of. And that's what people don't understand. Anybody can be taken advantage of. Anybody. Hell, man, some dude could break through the fucking door right there, come snatch me up, and this video would be over. Nobody would know. And if someone found me, they'll be like, oh my God, we didn't know. We're so sorry. And like, no, you're not sorry. You didn't care in the first place. You care now because I just got back. It's just like, yo, some fucking chick could walk through the door right there, fucking rape me or something, make me fuck her. Unbelievable. Yeah, sounds unbelievable, but it can happen. And when it does happen, no one takes it seriously because I'm a guy. They expect that just because the idea around the males, or the ideology around males, is that we're the dominant ones and that we're always on top and that we're strong. No, it's not always like that. We can be taken advantage of. That's just how it is. Everyone can be taken advantage of. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand that. You know, most of the time it isn't easy for anybody to conclude why the female really did it, or what the female really did it for. That's the same thing as why she did it. So the female immediately goes to the justification that she was using self-defense. And then later on, in retrospect for the female, she realizes that she does it simply for control of the partner. If you want to control a situation, tell people that you want to take control, all right? That you want to lead for a moment. Shouting at them will get you nowhere. Punching them will get you nowhere. This goes for both genders. Shouting at them will get you nowhere. You know, punching them will get you nowhere. Calling their boss and telling them to fire them because you fucking broke up with them is going to get them nowhere. Telling your best friends that he fucking raped you or hit you it's going to do nothing except for make the situation worse. It's going to do nothing except that. Get it to your brain. Be direct. Be candid. Tell your partner what you want. You know, but don't be in an outrage while doing it, because then it'll obviously make them less reasonable to reason with. What? It'll make them less. It'll make it less able for you to reason with them. There. You just be straightforward with them. Let them know what you think, but don't be pissed with them, because it's not going to get you anywhere. The underlying reason most females get into these situations is because they want control. They want control. And when they get slapped the fuck back, or they get denied that control, they obviously feel some sort of weird, like, hyper rejection. I don't know what it is, but they feel like they were just insanely disrespected by what we just did or said. But yeah, the underlying reason is because they want control. And when they can't have that control, they get mad. When they can't have that validation, they get mad. They just need to, I wouldn't say use their head more. They need to realize when other people are using their head, which I can understand is difficult. But if you know what to look out for, it's not that hard. Also, if you've been around that person for that long, you should understand where their limits are. You should understand when they want things to stop going the way they are. You should realize why they would want those things to stop. And unfortunately for them, they don't see that, because in the heat of the moment, you're obviously not paying attention to that stuff. You're paying attention to why you're mad, and you want to continue being mad just to get it out. One more thing. You may be asking, how does that entire second part relate to toxic masculinity? Well, not toxic masculinity. Toxic femininity. The way it relates is, all of that stuff, it goes unnoticed because they have a vagina. That's as simple as I can put it. All of that goes unnoticed, all because they have vagina. All because society has put these standards on them where they're not aggressive, where they're passive and just submissive in general. They have these ideals that agree with the men's at all time, or they have the morality where they are just so much superior when it comes to thinking. They also have it on their side that, you know, they're just because they're not as strong as men, they can't do these same things, or they only do less damage. But it still lies in the fact that they do these things to everybody, and it goes unnoticed, all because they have a pair of boobs and a vagina. You know, I would put ass into the mix, but hell, man, I have an ass. Then that would make me, you know, invalidated to all of my responsibilities and accountability. You know, I would be a female, man. I'd be a female. I'd be epic. Point is, just because they got two of these things, I got myself some titties, and then they have a vagina, they're okay. They're okay. Nothing can happen to them because they have those things. And it's unfair that for us, it's unfair that it always comes down to men needing to be better. It always comes down to men needing to be more responsible and accountable. It always comes down to men needing to respect women for what they are worth and what they respect their ideals and morals, which we do, but all because the shitty ones are being put out in the public. We have to take all of that shitty content that they put out there, and we have to withhold it for ourselves just to live out a normal life. without getting canceled, without getting falsely accused of something, without getting put in prison for no reason. It's just wrong. Yo, you know, black people are super oppressed, and even women can still get them put in jail for nothing. You know, that's crazy. That is actually crazy. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Why? It just doesn't make any damn sense. They want us to not go to jail, and they'll still send us to prison by doing this shit. It is actually crazy. It's actually crazy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.